Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for hopping on tonight's team call. We have a few announcements and then we're going to jump right into the call because we have Lisa on and she is going to talk about something super important that I think we all need a little refresher on. And I know we have probably some new coaches on as well and some new coaches that are kind of building their team. So this is going to be an awesome one. So Ultimate Portion Fix is available for everybody, current coaches, new coaches, and customers. That happened today for the customer part. April 1st is when the live version of 21 Day Fix begins. Our team challenge group already started yesterday. So if you're not in that, go to the team banner and the group link is right in there. Autumn's apparel sale is still going on with 40% off. Last chance for Summit tickets, 165. I don't know when that ends, so if you're going to go, hop on that. It's going to go up after this. Coach Summit workshops, they're doing a different breakdown this year. So it's going to be by, I believe, rank. So track 1 is like, I think, coach to like Ruby rank. Diamond to 1-star is track 2, and then track 3 is for 2-star and above coaches. And this week, bon voyage to all of you going on the cruise. I am super jealous. I will be crying, but I'm super happy for everybody that's going because it's just a crazy, awesome experience. So if you guys want to go on the Net Success Club trip, obviously, Earn Success Club. And you can go on, Punta Cana, right? Next year. That's a really fun hotel, the Hard Rock Cafe. So if you want to get there, you have plenty of time to make it happen. We also have 2 other events coming up pretty soon. The first one is Super Weekend. If you're a new coach, Super Weekend is our quarterly event in every kind of location near you. Like we have a few in Jersey. So if you just go into your coach online office, you will see what date it is. It might be April 12th or the 13th. And then you can find locations to where you can go. Events in this business are absolutely key to get to just so you can really feel that energy, really see what's going on, learn about the new things that are going to be coming up. And I'm pretty sure, no, I might be wrong. If it's this, I'm pretty sure it's this one that they're going to be announcing like a vegan supplement, something like that. So I'm super pumped to see what it is, and I'll be going and I'll be working out at that Super Weekend. We also have Coach Summit. Like I said, the ticket is still $165. If you want to jump on it, that is July 11th through the 14th in Indianapolis. So that is also something super fun. And hopefully I won't miss it this year. I don't know. I might be crazy. Lisa thinks I'm crazy if I try and go with the baby, but we'll see what happens. But I just hate missing those things because they're so super important. But I'm going to shoot it over to Lisa. Most of you guys know Lisa. Like I said, there are some new coaches on, but Lisa is my coach. She's near and dear to me because my life would not be the same if it wasn't for her inviting me to this business. And she really not just helped me grow as a leader, but a lot of the girls on this team, she really has helped to mentor. And I mean, without her, I don't know where I would be. So Lisa, thanks so much. And maybe if you can give like a 2-3 short version of your story for the new people.
Okay.
Hi. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. I'm just going to start with, I'm sure everybody has had a really super busy day. And, that for most of you, that includes kids and stuff and maybe work, maybe a whole bunch of stuff. And you might still be in that mode. I see some little heads. So still in that mode. And I remember that well. So just go ahead and just take a deep breath for a second. I know sometimes when I do this, people say, that's the first time I've taken a breath all day. Just get really present, really be here, really be in the space of taking it all in and just relax. I think it's a good idea to relax before trainings. So again, my name is Lisa Hansen. I've been a coach for a bit over 8 years. And I started out dirt poor and almost on welfare. I was about 100 pounds overweight. Beachbody came into my life. I lost 96 pounds. I went after it like a business right from the beginning and built a huge team. And I'm now in the Millionaire Club. I earn multiple six figures a year. That good, Rose? Okay, that's good. My story is longer, but I have shortened it. So it's good. And I'm just happy to be here. Today I'm going to talk about onboarding. And knew and didn't know what that term meant. That's what it means. So, you get a new coach, a working coach. You get someone who signs up with you and they say, yes, I want to do the business. And it's very, very, very exciting. You get all geared up. You're ready to go. You're going to teach them the ropes. They're equally excited. I think those of us have done this. You know the feeling I'm talking about. There's probably a whole bunch of expectations that you have. You have an agenda of what you want to do. And you start. And then maybe 1, 2 weeks, or maybe a few weeks go by, and all of a sudden they're not answering your messages anymore. They're kind of avoiding you like this. When you reach out to them, finally they might say, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I think that most of us have heard that at some point, that a new coach will say, I'm feeling overwhelmed. This is very, very super common. And going back to the basics for me, I think will help you guys for me to be able to share that. Honestly, I believe the last almost 9 years, Beachbody has gone from having very little training to having a lot of training, having a lot of systems, a lot of different ways that it can be done. When I started, we didn't have any of that. We fell in love with the workout programs. We fell in love with Shakeology, and we knew that we needed people to sign up in order to build an income and to build a team. That's all we knew, and that's all we did. Basically, all we knew was how to sign up people, where to put them with the diamond tracker, and share our enthusiasm for it, for the products. And now we have a gazillion trainings. We didn't have challenge groups back then. And we didn't even, like I said, we knew how to build a team. And we're on a team. You guys are all on a team where our up line is Jason Diebold. And he taught us from the very beginning how to treat this business like a business to earn a lot of money. And the mentors that we hired and paid to have us to teach us at that time were all network marketing professionals. And as a result, we were constantly looking for recruiting people to do this business. I think I was in year 3 or 4 of the business, challenge groups came along. Now, I'm not anti-challenge group at all. I love them. I think it's a great, great way to connect with your customers and to really super help them and get them the results. But what happened is a shift occurred where it became a challenge group business instead of a building a team business. And people are working their butts off. I didn't swear, I almost did, but people are working their butts off, getting customers, being on social media, showing up, running challenge groups month after month after month, putting in a ton of work, and they're not making the income. They're like, why am I only making $100 or $200 a week or $100 or $200 a month? What is going on? So we have to look at first, before we even get to onboarding new coaches, your mindset about what it takes. And that takes actively seeking and finding, always keeping in mind that you're building a team. And that is your sole focus. So again, we're going to go back to the basics. So now we're going to go back to the scenario that I described where, let's say we have a coach that says that they're feeling overwhelmed. 9 out of 10 times, and I've mentored I think every single one has said this to me at some point. They realize that they have given them way too much to do. And in the beginning, when we want to put them in the team page because we're so super excited and we want to give them a coach basics because, again, we want them to learn the ropes, it puts them into the learning mode too quickly, and something shifts in their brain, and their enthusiasm that they had when they joined you starts to fizzle out and starts to fade out because you've put them in school. You have said, okay, now you need to do this, this, and this, and this, and then you can coach. We were taught the exact opposite. And I really believe that's why me, Bob Lucido, Keith Callahan, we have big, huge teams with big incomes. We taught them to talk to people and to share your enthusiasm for the products. And then we taught them how to do things as they went along. So it's a learn as you go business. So I don't teach my new customer coaches how to sign up someone until they have someone to sign up. That's when I teach them how to do it. I don't teach them how to do a lot of things, actually. I don't even put them in the coach basics and for a little bit, and I'm going to go over that. Your job is to help them have time to build a relationship and connect with them, help them build confidence and belief that they can do this business, and how to create a vision. Personally, I think that the vision is one of the most important things that you can do for someone. And how you do a vision is you ask them about them. What is their life like? You know, what is their family life like? What is their work life like? Do they like their job? So as you're talking, kind of form some questions in your mind, and you kind of, get the gist of their life, okay? And at the end, you can ask them, okay, with coaching, if you were to make $500 extra a week, how would your life change? Then they start to think about, oh my God, I have this huge credit card debt. I'll use Jessica because she doesn't care, Jessica Bryson. I still remember to this day, her answer was, she was embarrassed to get married to Dan with a huge credit card debt. She hadn't even told him yet that she had all this. And that was her big push for years. So there you have a vision of where this business can change their life. And that's what you want. Where can this business change their life, and how can it? With Rose, she lived far away from Dave. She could not figure out how they could live close with their jobs. Then her big push came, she wanted to be able to quit her job so that she could move closer. So those are just a couple of examples. If you guys have questions along the way while I'm talking, jot them down, and at the end, I'll open it up. Now, in order to become a really good mentor to your new coaches that you're bringing on, you're going to need to let go of your ego. And this is hard for some people, not everyone, but for some people, because you're going to want to do everything yourself. I was taught from the beginning that until you are a 1-star diamond, you don't mentor your coaches yourself. Now, this is something that you can sit with. I'm just going to teach you what works really well for me and for all of my 5-star my diamonds that I have brought on. Handing your coach over that you just recruited to someone else is really hard, but I really want you to hear this. You're going to be co-mentoring with your upline, your diamond upline. You need to also learn how to mentor someone. And the best way for you to learn that is by listening to how someone else does it, because they've been doing it a lot longer than you. So that looks like 3-way calls. You're on the phone while Rose or me or Amanda or whoever else does the mentorship, and that's how you're going to learn. We were taught So I'm the mentor. Okay. I was taught I do first, you listen. Okay. For a little bit. And then you do it while I listen in. And the reason for that is so that I can then give you feedback and we can have a conversation about it afterwards. How did it go? Did you feel comfortable in this area? Did you feel comfortable in that area? But you get to training by doing this from a seasoned coach about how it's done. Plus, the other thing is that this typically happens to most people. They recruit a new coach, and then all of their energy and all of their time goes into this new coach, and then they're not recruiting more coaches. They pause. They put it on pause for a little bit so they can make sure that they get this coach started right? When you rely on the team to do that for you until you're seasoned yourself, that frees you up so you don't stop recruiting, because you never want to stop recruiting. Never, ever. Okay? So stop and think for a minute. For everything that I just said, think about how many coaches you think you have lost due to overwhelming them. Just reflect on it for a minute. Just really sit and look back. Every single person I've ever talked to, no matter what rank they are, including myself, can say that they have lost coaches, potential coaches, because they have overwhelmed them. Okay, so I have notes tonight, which is rare for me. So I'm just going through my notes. Usually I just channel. Okay, so 1 step, blah, 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 train. Okay, so where are you going to start? So the first 2, you're going to do 2 mentoring calls. And I personally like to leave an hour for each one. And I want you to think of these calls as you're assessing the coach. It's assessment, and you're assessing the situation. And what I mean by that is, another mistake that some of us make, especially if we are the personality of choleric, and for those who have read the Personality Plus book, if you are a leader and you are going to train someone, you have to read a personality analysis of some kind, GEM, Color, or Personality Plus. The one we were all taught on was Personality Plus. A choleric is someone, you can give them something to do, they will do it immediately, and then immediately ask for more to do, and then go find more to do on their own while doing everything else at the same time. Okay? That they're just going to run with it. A choleric sanguine is someone who is also social. They make great coaches. And they are going to be social butterflies while they're also still doing everything. You get someone who's a melancholic. A melancholic is going to think that they need to learn everything and study everything and have a chart and an Excel sheet, and they need to be completely organized before they can do anything, okay? So I'm sure we all know some melancholics in our life. They're great because I love melancholics because I can call on them and just ask them what their research was, and then they just give me the answer, and I don't have to go do the research myself because they like to go do research. So in that first call, you need to figure out what their personality is. We can't assume that their personality is like ours. I mean, I can't even tell you how many coaches I've talked to that say, I don't understand it. I'm telling them what to do. Why aren't they just going to do it? It's what I did. Why aren't they able to? Everyone has a different personality. You need to figure that out. And I'll give you some tips on how to figure that out. So in the first call, yes, we're going through the vision, like I spoke about in the beginning. We're going to look at their social media presence. This is going to determine how fast you can go with them. If they're someone who is posting multiple times a day, they're obviously very popular. You can tell from their timeline that they're an influencer who is someone who has a circle of followers. You're going to be able to move faster with them. If you have someone who hasn't posted in over a week and is afraid to post or is just sharing politics all the time, we have a lot of work to do. Okay, we're going to have a conversation with them about how they're going to use social media for their business, and then we're going to need to monitor their Facebook and their Instagram, and we're going to have conversations about how to improve it. And then from there, you're going to go into their brand or their niche about what are they most comfortable with? Do they want to share recipes? Do they want to share training tips? Do they want to do workouts? Do they want to do nutrition? Whatever. Do they like yoga? Do they like bodybuilding? You have to figure this out, okay? And you might already have an idea because you have recruited them, but you need to ask them, what do you feel the most comfortable with starting out with posting about? So if I have someone who hasn't posted in a while, their first assignment is I want you to post every single day at this time for a week. And then we'll talk about your posts when we talk next week. If I have someone who's been posting once a day, I'll say your first assignment is to post twice a day, or whatever. So I'm assessing their Facebook. I'm keeping an eye on it. And then when we talk the next time, I say, can we schedule our call where we both can be in front of your Facebook? And if the answer is no, as long as I can be in front of their Facebook, they already know what they're posted, and that's fine. But I'll scroll through and I'll say, you see this post that you did right here? If you had added a question, you could have done engagement. Or if you had shared this, you could have added value to someone's day, or you could have inspired someone. So I'm not expecting them to know how to do it. I am teaching them how to do it. How are they going to fit this into their schedules? That's the next thing I cover. How long of hours do they work? But I'll just start with saying, how can you fit this into your schedule? So the last coach I had, she said she had Mondays and Fridays off. Great. How much time can you put into it each of those days? And she said 2 hours each day. Okay. And how much time do you think you could do at night after work once the kids go to sleep? And she said, I could do a half hour before my time with my husband. Great. There's your schedule. Put it in your calendar. That's your Beachbody schedule. For each person, it's going to be different. So I want to spend some time. How are you going to fit this into your life? Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them, how comfortable are they talking to people in their warm market about our products? Because I want them to take action. And marketing, because they need to talk to people. And then I'm going to ask them about their warm market because they need to talk to people. And I'm going to teach them how to talk to people before anything else. Then I'm going to ask them, so this might be by the second call. This is like the first 2 calls. What do they love about Beachbody? I don't say, okay, now I'm going to teach you how to tell your story, or I'm going to teach you how to share. I'm going to just ask them, hey, so you've been on Shakeology for a month and you've been doing Transform 20. How's it going? And I listen to what they say to me, because they're going to say something to me differently than they are if I ask them, okay, let's now talk about your story. They're going to go, kind of get nervous. But if I just say, hey, what have you been noticing since you've been drinking Shakeology? What have you been noticing since you've been working out? Oh, and they're going to talk and talk and talk like they're talking to a girlfriend, right? Then after they're all done, I'm taking notes as I'm listening to them. I always have a notebook for each coach, by the way. And I'm keeping a running log of our conversations. That's for when I can go back and remind them of what their why is, or what their vision is, or what we talked about last time, or what their assignment was. And I want to know if they've done it. Because I'm going to match my efforts, and I'm going to give as much to them as they're doing in return. And I set that right from the beginning, that I will match their efforts. I'm going to go at their speed. And basically, they have to earn their time with me. So I'm very protective of that, because I give them a lot of time. But if they're not doing what they need to be doing to take this business seriously, then that's going to change. And I don't cut them out, of course, but it changes. So after they tell me what they love about Shakeology and about the workouts, I say, great, there's your story. Now let's work on some posts about some of these things. So after that, I'm going to determine a few things. How quickly are they doing what I've suggested? And how active are they being with the changes? So I'm looking at their Facebook to see if they're acting like a coach, basically. If they're acting like a coach, Then I know I can add them to the team page, and I can add them to the Coach Basics or Academy sooner. Okay, if it's someone who was posting they weren't posting at all, and I had to get them posting, it's going to take them a little bit longer to get in the team page and into the trainings than someone who does things at a faster speed. So for each person, it's different, and you learn how to determine what that is. Why the team page? Well, it's very super exciting when you get to announce someone. You're very happy for yourself, and you're very happy for them, and you can't wait to do the pretty little graphic, and you can't wait to announce them, and it's so exciting. Like it really is. The reason I put the reins on it for a little bit is because there's a ton of stuff going on in there, and there's a lot of announcements, and there's a lot of questions, and there's a lot of opportunities for overwhelm, and I want to assess them before I overwhelm them. I don't want to ever overwhelm them, but I want to prolong it. But I'll talk about it. I'll say, okay, great. We're going to have a couple of calls, and we have this awesome team page, and I'm going to introduce you to everyone on the team, but we're going to have a couple calls first, and then we're going to see how this goes. And as you need to learn things, I'll be doing that. I always have a goal for my calls. First of all, before I talk to anybody, I make a prayer. And I really get real, and I put my ego aside, and I sit for a minute and take a few deep breaths. And I ask, whatever word you use, universe, God, you don't even have to use a word. I just say, what does this person need to hear from me to be successful in this business? What does this person need to feel really good about signing up as a coach with me and my team? How can I have an impact on their life? How can I help them? Okay. Then I have a phone call. I don't have a phone call. I will be a minute late if I have not done my prayer yet. That's how important it is to me. People will say, a lot of the feedback I get sometimes is, oh, you're so wise. I swear I'm just channeling most of the time. I'm just like tapped into the universe. That's what I want to be. I want to be tapped in. If I'm not tapped in and I'm super cranky and having a shit day, I might cancel the call or reschedule it because I don't want to get on the phone with them if I'm in like a pissy mood. Just not going to happen. Why do I want to spread my negative energy onto someone else? I don't. Unless it's Rose, and I'll say, hey, can you talk? I'm just kidding. And hold the trash bucket for me. No, but we have an agreement. Both of us do that for each other. We all need a friend like that. Vent for 2 seconds, and then you're done. But anyway, especially with the new coach that I'm training, I don't want that, So I'll just say, hey, I'm not feeling my best. Can we reschedule? Okay. So my goals for the phone calls are, I want them to feel good about this opportunity and believe that they can do it. I want them to feel so good and so full of confidence each time they get off the phone. I want to instill belief in them. And what that means is looking for what they already do good and then amping that up. Hey, I went on your Facebook page and, oh my God, that post, I'm not lying. I'm looking for what was really good. Going on their Facebook page, that post was awesome. We want to do more like that. Did you see how many comments you got? Yeah, let's keep it going. I also don't want to, like I said in the beginning, I don't want to fizzle out their enthusiasm by putting them into that learning mode too quickly. I want that enthusiasm to stay because enthusiasm sells. Enthusiasm sells the most in this business. Being enthusiastic about Shakeology, about the products, and about the opportunity, the longer you can hang on to that, the better. You have done really well if you can do that. If you put them in trainings too quickly, they start to question it. Oh my God, there's so much to learn. I had no idea. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. We don't want that. All right, action mode is what we want. You're going to have a checklist. I have a checklist. If you do not have a checklist, all of us leaders can share our checklists in the page. but you do want to have a checklist, and I cross off every, as needed, what I need to teach them. So one of the things on there is get their page up and running and set up their EFT. Check. Okay. I'm going to tell them that at some point. I'm going to tell them that after they sign up someone, because why do they need to set up their EFT if they haven't even going to get a paycheck, right? So they come to me and they say, oh my God, I have someone to sign up. I teach them how to sign them up. Check that off the list. So I'm checking it off as I go, just to make sure that I don't miss anything. Take your time with it, and know, like I said before, that each person is different. Now, if your personalities don't match up, like I have signed up coaches before. Oh, I'll use Jessica Vandenberg for those who know her. Jessica Vandenberg is a personal trainer, and she's one of my top coaches. And she's so buff, like she's wicked buff. And I came from a holistic health background, and I was more about just the Shakeology and nutrition. I didn't even work out at the time that I signed her up. So she inspired me actually to start working out afterwards, and I did P90X. But what I did was while I was mentoring her, I actively sought out top coaches for her to follow and learn from that were more like her. And I would say, follow this person and follow that person. And then I would go to YouTube and search for any, training videos by any of the top coaches who were more of a match for her. And I've done that for a lot of people. So you have to, and that's where you have to get your ego in check and be really humble. It may not be you. But your job is to not make them like you. Your job is to make them like them and to help them shine their brightest and figure out them as a coach. And it might not be the way you do it. And so my last little thing, and then we'll open up for discussions, is and I touch upon this for a second, when you recruit someone, do not stop doing your other things to train them. Like I said, have your upline train them. But even if you're a diamond and above or a 1-star and above, we don't ever want to bank on someone or let them take all of our time and put a hold or a pause on recruiting new coaches, because you really don't know how that person is going to be. And I can think of at least 100 different times over the last almost 9 years. I thought they were going to be so good. Man, I just thought they were going to be like this awesome coach. What happened? I just kind of feel like I just wasted 3 months of my time. And until they really do it, be careful about your time. Be really protective of it. So, questions. You mean people actually get more than 1 day off? They were talking to Jess about this yesterday. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't paying attention to the comments, so I don't know if those are old or new. But if you have a question or if you have something to add, go ahead and unmute yourself and let's chat.
I'll always have something to add.
Okay.
So I wanted Lisa to do this call because I think we tend to, like she said, throw people in the team page. And what do you call it, Lisa? Like wish?
I call it sink or swim.
Yeah, sink or swim. And then we wonder why, where'd they go? Why didn't they do anything? Because we just kind of threw them in there and hope and prayed. And I think somebody like me, I'm also a choleric. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I would have done it. And that's like, I was in the Coach Basics and I did every single thing, every single day. But I'm not everybody. And you kind of have to realize, like, how you work is not how everybody else is going to work. So you kind of have to mold the way that you're approaching people based on them, not based on what you expect. And I think that caught me in the beginning of coaching too, is I expected people to be just like me, just to like go and freaking do it. Like, what's the problem, right? But you have to understand everybody else has their expectations too. And we have to know what those expectations that they have before our own agenda.
Yeah, that's really good, because the reason that I can be here almost 9 years later and teach this is because I had to go through a pretty painful learning curve with this, because I came in as such a high choleric. You know, I got to diamond in 30 days. I was 1-star by the end of 1 year, 2-star by a year and a half. Like, went in full guns, you know, full speed ahead. I couldn't. It baffled me when people wouldn't do. You know, I would give them something to do and they wouldn't do it, or I would put them in Coach Basics and they wouldn't be doing the daily assignments. It like totally baffled me. And so I had to take a step back and learn and study those books, Personality Plus. And because I chose to recognize that and put my ego aside and study those books and really have a genuine interest in learning about the different learning styles of other people, I can recognize your personality from, you know, what it is immediately within the first phone call. I know exactly what you are. And that pays off, you know. So learning that is so important, because like you, Rose, I was the same way. I was like, oh my God, like I don't get it. So yeah, very cool. Anyone else have a question, or anyone else want to share like what resonates with you? Oh, we have a phone call question, I think. Hi.
Well, not really a question. Not really a question. It's Jillian here. But I guess I would be definitely interested if one of the coaches could drop their checklist off for, you know, when you onboard coaches, and the, you know, the specific conversations you have and what you're checking off, to make sure that they're getting the right things that they need at the right time without, like you're saying, overloading.
Great. Yeah, we can totally do that.
I don't know how to mute myself again, so you can mute me.
I got it, Jill.
Thanks.
Has anyone had this experience that they want to share, where they've had coaches that just kind of faded out or have said that they've overwhelmed? You don't have to share, but if anyone wanted to, or if anyone had questions.
I'll share. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't think she's on here right now, but Courtney Cruz, one of our coaches, she was one of my very first signups as a coach, and she was like super excited at the beginning, and I was super excited at the beginning, and we were like, and Rose was helping me, and we were like back and forth for a little bit, and the timing just wasn't right for her at that time, but she stayed on the team page, and then she came back. I want to say it was 2 years. And then she came back and was like, okay, like she never canceled. She never, but she just didn't do the thing. She didn't get involved. She didn't post right away. And then she just kind of faded away for a little bit because it just wasn't right for her. And then a couple of years later, she came back, and she came back like a rock star. So sometimes, like, I remember she was one of my first like coaches who wanted to do the business. And I was like, okay. And as soon as someone signs up, I'm like, okay, that's a diamond. She's a diamond, you know, right away. And then all of a sudden she was like, I'm not sure I want to do this right now. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? So then you have to reflect, and it's like, is it something I did? Did we not do it right? You know, that kind of thing. And it just wasn't the right timing for her, I think, in the grand scheme of it. And sometimes that's hard to see when you're so excited, like talking about like getting them ready and not just throwing them into the team page and overwhelming them, is also figuring out how they're going to run this business, whether they're going to run with it or take their time with it and going at their speed. And it wasn't right for her. And then when it was, she hit the ground running. So I think it's really important to accommodate to them. And anyone who's a teacher, that, you know, you do that in the classroom. You have to accommodate to your students. So use that to your advantage. I know so many of us are teachers. That's all.
Absolutely. You know, I'm going to screen share for just a second. So I think that's so important too, and people do come back often. And I think it's important to, hold on one second. Just popped into my head. If you guys have seen this, so before a new coach, before our first call, this is what I have them fill out. In order for me to best mentor you, it's helpful for me to know a little bit about you. So what I'm asking them, what helped you the most with deciding to be a coach? Are you currently in a challenge group? How would you describe your family life? How would you describe your work and social life? How savvy on social media are you? Personal development, are they willing to do personal development? What are the last 3 books you have read or listened to? One of my coaches put like Slight Edge, Compound Effect, and something, and I was like, woohoo, we're ahead of the game. This is awesome. What best describes your personality? I am motivated by fun and recognition. I am motivated by helping others and being part of a team. I am motivated by organization, schedules, and order. There's a melancholic. I am motivated by challenges, goals, or any kind of leadership roles. There's your choleric. What best describes your attitude? I have a positive can-do attitude. I try my best to be positive, but sometimes I struggle. I can be somewhat negative sometimes. On a scale of 1 to 5, I love to be my own boss. That's a choleric. I don't like having to decide what to do. That's a phlegmatic or melancholic. Your best, your situation. I want to know, are they home? Why you want to be a successful coach. And then this is why I brought this up. Which statement is most accurate about your long-term goals as a Beachbody coach? I want to earn enough to pay for my Shakeology each month. I want to earn $500 a month for bills. I want to coach full-time and earn $50K or more. I want to earn 6 figures, or I want to be in the millionaire club. This tells you a lot, and it's not always accurate, but if I have someone who comes in saying they just want to earn enough to pay for their Shakeology, I know I'm going to start them at a low goal, and I'm going to need to build on that. They're going to need to have faith that they're going to be able to do this and belief. So I'm going to need to work on that. When I came in, my goal was to make $300 a month. That was my goal. And if someone had pushed me too fast, too soon, because as a single mom, 3-year-old, it would have been too much. So I kind of asked them, what are they thinking about? What are you willing to give up? You wouldn't know that now, but yes, I did. And what do you feel like you need most from a mentor to be successful? How many hours can you devote? So I forgot to mention this, and I apologize, but the first phone call, we're going over this, and maybe I do it by the second. But anyone that has that is a new coach on here, listening to this or on the call right now, I hope this was helpful for you too, because what you want to be looking for in a mentor is really super important, and you might need to have a conversation with your sponsor about that, what is going to give you and provide you with the most success. And that may mean definitely more than one mentor, and that's okay. So have a conversation with them. And also take away from this that this is a learn as you go business. You do not need to know everything before you become a successful coach. I hit that goal of $300 a month within my first month and kept it from that point forward based solely on my, again, enthusiasm and ability to know how to sign up someone and which leg to put them on. So don't think that you have to know everything and study everything before you start talking to people. All right, any other questions? You can either put it in the chat box or you can unmute yourself, or if any other leaders have anything that they want to add, or if you just want to share what resonated with you, we have a few minutes.
I'll go. So it definitely is hard for me to realize that some people aren't like go-getters on stuff. Like, I struggle with it at work because we're just trained someone new, and it's really hard for me to be like, oh my God, like, this is simple. Why can't you just go, clean that dog's kennel? Like, obviously there's poop in there, go clean it. Like, stuff like that is hard for me to realize that sometimes you go step by step. Or like a blood test. If I've shown someone a blood test like 15 times in one day, like, I feel like they should be able to do it. But so it's like come back to ground level for me, like, to realize that I don't need to throw everything at my coaches because they just get overwhelmed and then they quit responding because they don't know where to start. So this has been like I guess, like, not baby, you know what I mean? But like slowly weaning them onto stuff. And I'm not very good at babying people, so I'm working on it.
Yeah, in that book, Florence is her first name. I can put it up, but Personality Plus will help you so much. Because not only does it teach you how to balance out your own personality areas, but it also tells you how to work with the people who are different. And you can even have them take the test. I often do that. I used to do that. I don't feel like I really have to now because I've studied it so long, but I used to have them take the test. And Mallory, once you do get someone who is like that, who you can show them how to do a blood test once and they get it, there you go. You can put them into everything so much faster. So when they're showing you what they're capable of, instead of the reverse, you're going to match that. And I threw Rose, a high choleric, into the trainings, into everything possible right away. And she did it all, but but like, I like what you said. It's a reality check to know that everyone's not like that. So Lauren, can you share your questionnaire? Oh, sure. Of course. Yes.
And I also think we need to, kind of like bouncing off what Courtney said, is love people and respect where they're at. So for the other Courtney, it just wasn't her time, and we can't like blame that or blame us, or we can't try to drag that other person because that's just going to ruin maybe some future aspect of her coming back, right? She still was in love with Beachbody, Shakeology, and then she kind of came around. And I forget what coach or training I was listening to today, but she was talking about, we have a coach or two, they're like, yes, I want to do this. And you hold on to them so tight and they don't ever show up to the things that they say they're going to, that you don't leave room open for other people to come in. So if people aren't showing up, Lisa, or they say they want to coach, but they're not kind of giving you what you're giving them, and you're always chasing them and pulling them, what's your recommendation?
You mean, what do I do?
Yeah, like, what do you do? Yeah.
So usually by the second call, we have a very clear expectation. I go over it and I say, I am going to give you 100%, but I'm going to match your speed and I'm going to match your efforts. And as long as you're doing everything that we go over and you're actively reaching out to people, then I am going to give you 100%. We're going to take this one call at a time and see how it goes. And then I see how it goes. And then if things aren't progressing, then I put them in a group training, or I, teach them how to lean on the team page, or for those of you who saw Carol's video that she put up today, which is ironic, she didn't know that this was the topic for tonight. I called her out on it. And then I said, did you do the assignments that I gave you last week? And she said, no. And then I said, okay, well, we will continue these phone calls as long as you're doing the assignments. That's it. And she goes, and that was all it took for her. She was like, she wanted to have the phone calls with me. And because I'd already spent time with her on the phone when she signed, when she was interested in coaching. And then I'd already spent that first phone call with her. So we had already built a rapport and a relationship. So she respected me and trusted me because I was very clear what I was going to be there for, and how much of myself I was going to be able to give to her. So for her to hear that by the third call, she was like, ooh, I better do it if I really want this. So,
and then if they don't show up, they don't show up. You don't go and chase after them.
Oh God, no, I never chase after people.
Or like say, you're like, let's get on a phone call. It never happens. Do you keep chasing that person?
No way. I'm so sorry. I find that funny, but it's not funny. No, I mean, the people who will be successful in this business will chase you. That's just hands down. Every single one of the Star Diamonds on my team, and you guys Star Diamonds, that's how it works. What's next? Okay, I did what you asked me to. What's next? Oh my God, I'm having a conversation. What do I say? I mean, they're chasing you because they want it that bad. No, I don't. I just don't do it. I don't have a fluffier answer.
No, that's kind of what I wanted you to say. And you move on and you find somebody that does want it. And it might take you 10 coaches to get one person, right, that actually says, yes, I want to do this, and actually does the action. Like, it's not up to us to drag everybody with us just because they said they wanted to coach. They have to show you the action behind it.
Yeah, people think that leading is pushing from behind and it's pulling from the front. You imagine you have a rope, like a tug of war rope, and all your team is on it. You can't be pushing from behind. You got to pull a rope. You can't push a rope. You pull them along. This is where I'm going, so you might want to share your vision. You know what? This is my vision, and you want to come with me. This is where I'm headed, like the energy bus. So when I wasn't making much money, I used my uplines business. And I said, yeah, I'm super excited. I'm all in on this business. I know it. I see it. I feel it. I believe in it. My coach is making $1,000 a week. I'm going to get there. And do you want to come with me? I did the same with my weight loss journey. I signed up 1 billion people when I was like 225 pounds because I was like, I'm going to lose weight and get healthier. Do you want to come with me? So you don't have to wait until you lose the weight. You don't have to wait to be successful and in order to invite people along your journey. Amanda, makes me think of recruiting too. Can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Can't say the right thing to the wrong person. I love you just keep going until you get, and when you do get that rock star, it's so much fun. Mallory, you'll have so much fun, So, and all of you guys, Mallory's just in front of me, but.
And that was one thing you taught me too, Lisa, is that if you're on the phone with somebody and it's not fun and it feels like, like there's something, I forget what you said to me, but that makes so much sense. Like, if you are excited to get on the phone with that person and talk to them, like, that's the kind of feeling that you're looking for. Yeah,
like I'll use, a few people on here that I've been having calls with, Lisa, Amanda, Mallory. I am like pumped when I get off the phone. Like, I'm just like, yes, they are doing it. They're Beachbody coaches. Yeah. That's another thing. We should touch upon that for a second. Your phone call should be a business phone call. It should not be chit-chatty. Let me hear about all your woes and all your complaints and all your excuses. It needs to be a business call, taking action. And so if it's headed in that direction, I will, no, I don't want you to think I'm mean, because I'm definitely not mean. Being direct doesn't mean that you're mean. I would just say, I completely, and I'm going to help them. I completely understand where you're coming from. And as they're talking, again, I'm taking notes because I told you guys that. I have a one subject notebook for each coach and a big file cabinet. And I take their notebook out and I'm taking notes. And as they're venting and complaining and giving all their excuses, I'm writing them all down. And then I'm going to hand it back to them. And I'm going to say, okay, for now, for the last 10 minutes, you have told me this, 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 and this, and this, and this. Do you hear that that's all excuses? Can I help you with that? Can I help you turn around your negative language, your negative self-talk? Can I turn it, I have a desire to help you. And those who, I don't want to call out names, but I have a coach recently who heard that, light bulb went off, and she's doing the work like crazy, good, like awesome, yay her. And she's like, okay, what can I do? I do want to turn that around. I don't want to suffer from excuse-itis, and I don't want to be a negative Nancy. And yeah, my self-talk is so negative. And she was totally 100% in and willing to work on that. So you either have to, so you don't indulge in that with them, and you don't, baby them and say, oh, I understand. Oh, you're so busy. I know. You just say, would you like help with this? This is in the personal development section, and I can help you with that, and I'm willing to help you with that. Kind of went off in a little different direction there for a second, but Rose, anything else or anyone else?
How often do you do your calls? Like you said, like you do call number one, just trying to like basically size them up, see, where they're at, what we can work on to start with. And then you'll do a call later and then kind of reassess. How far apart do you spread those?
Weekly.
Okay.
And for the first two, I like to schedule in on my calendar. I like to leave an hour. Sometimes I'll say to the person, especially if they have a job and everything, I'll ask them, how much time will you have? So I can kind of get an idea of what we're going to go over. If they're doing it on their lunch break, I'll say, how long will you have? What's comfortable for you before you have to get back to work? If it's somebody who is reaching out to people, signing up people, doing everything, I'm going to give them a weekly call forever, for as long as they need to. All of my star diamonds, I have 6 diamonds and I have 5 star diamonds. And all of them got, I would say, at least a year of talking with me weekly. And again, that you have to assess this along the way. I would say the first at least 3 weekly. By the 3rd call, you should know where you're headed with them. And if they're doing it and you're going to pop them in the team page, you're going to pop them in Coach Basics, you want to be talking with them as they're going through any training, because you want to have conversations about the training. You don't want to lose touch with them. You want to say, how did that go? How did that feel doing that post? Or how are your conversations going? Can I see your conversations so I can help you learn how to talk to people better? So I'm not losing them, especially if they're the ones that are actively running with this. If it's someone else, it depends for each person. Some people I'll go to every other week, and then I'll go to every 3rd week. And then some other people I'll put into groups and do like a Zoom with a few different people. But usually no longer than, I never go longer than 4 to 6 without really knowing what I'm doing with them. If they've gone a couple of months and they haven't been signing up people, and I feel like I have actively helped them with that, then I want to make sure, and it also depends on you, like how much time you have. And if they're taking up a lot of time, I might shorten the call to a half hour. I might kind of do that at first. I'm giving you a bunch of scenarios because it's not cookie cutter. It really depends on the person. But I want to make sure that I'm always leaving plenty of my time and my energy, not just my time, my energy, freed up for new people? Good question.
Anybody else? Questions, comments? All right, Lisa, thank you so much. And I'll post this recording as soon as I can.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone. Have fun on the trip. Bye.